Hey, one more thing before we go. Have you ever wondered what happens when an outspoken podcast host falls for a charming rabbi? Welcome to One More Thing Before We Go, Over the Teacup Sunday with Michael and Diane. Today, we're diving into the captivating world of Netflix's latest series, Nobody Wants This. Join us as we explore the witty banter, the heartwarming moments, and the delightful balance of comedy and romance that makes this show a must watch. I'm your host, Michael Hurst. I'm here with my lovely wife and co host, Diane.
Hello, everyone. So today we're going to discuss the standout characters like Joanne, the outspoken podcast host, and her sister also, and Noah, the charming rabbi. Oh my God, he's so hot, and whose unlikely romance is both touching and hilarious. From their first kiss to the heartfelt "I can handle you" scene, we'll unpack the moments that make us laugh, cry, and fall in love with this series. It is so good,
It is. So grab your
so
favorite cup
good.
of tea and or whatever you're drinking. Settle in for an engaging review filled with laughter, insights, and a few surprises along the way. We're going to entice you, but we're not going to give everything away. We promise we
Well,
won't give everything
we
away.
can't. We
No.
can't.
So whether you're a
No
fan,
spoilers.
yes. So whether you're a fan of this intense drama or comedy drama, a dramedy, we'll call it dramedy,
Hmm.
or just looking for your next binge-worthy series, which is absolutely worthy of that, we've got you covered. So let's get started. Hey, Diane.
Hello, Michael.
I cannot wait to talk about this series. It's like absolutely one of my all-time favorite series now, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's
It
been a long time to have a good rom-com like this.
and it's I mean it's right up there. It's right up there in the top. I would say top four, top five for sure. The top four of our. I mean, we love Ted Lasso. We love. I mean, we've talked about a
Well,
lot of our favorite
yes.
series,
Yeah.
but this
It's
absolutely belongs up in there.
yeah, I think definitely within the top five for sure. Yeah.
They were just released recently, and they've got one
Hmm.
season, and I hear rumor through Variety and Hollywood Reporter and Entertainment Tonight and all those things that I follow constantly
Hmm.
that they're really excited for a second season, and I
Oh,
think
thank
it
goodness.
warrants a second season.
Yes, it does.
So,
Yes, it does.
but
Yes.
you
Oh,
know,
and it's so, oh my gosh, it's one of the most binge-worthy shows I've ever. I think it's one of the, it's so incredibly binge-worthy. It's not even funny.
well, and I think part of that is, and we'll get into this, but the chemistry between Christian Bell and Adam Brody, who we love them both,
Yes.
is like absolutely spot on, man. You can absolutely believe
It's
the
palpable.
yes, 100%.
Yeah.
And realistically, they've actually been in other movies together. They actually had
Hmm.
romantic connections in other movies. One of them's like from I don't know if it's at 2016 or 16 years ago, one of the two, but either way, they've been in movies together before where they were
Yeah.
partners like this. But
Yeah.
so I think the chemistry just continues, and it's weird, really weird that I had asked that question after we got done watching this, going, I wonder what Dax is thinking about this.
And I listen to his podcast a lot, so I'm like, oh, he's fine. He's probably loving it
Yeah,
because
and then
that's just how he is.
shortly after
And
that, I sent you
yeah,
a thing from Instagram where
yeah.
I think it was Entertainment Tonight, they were
Hmm.
interviewing them, and she was saying that Dax is going,
I really wanted you to
I
kiss
want you to
him.
kiss him. Yeah, it's like you have to kiss him,
Yeah, yeah,
kind of a thing. Kind of was going,
yeah,
wow, wow.
yeah. But I mean, and he was talking about the first episode, and it's true. You're like, when are they going to kiss already?
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean
you know.
the chemistry is just, it's one of these things where we love Kristen Bell. We haven't seen her in a series since The Good Place. I don't
Yeah. Oh,
believe.
so
I mean,
good.
like as a lead in a series since The Good Place,
Yeah,
and we missed
yeah.
The Good Place.
I miss
Um,
it. Mm.
and ironically enough, there's a couple of people in here that are from The Good Place
Hmm.
in the series.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a reunion, a little bit of away from that point, but I'll
Hmm.
tell you, it's just, let me tell everybody about it a little bit.
Yep.
Nobody
Yep.
Wants This features a diverse and talented cast, each bringing unique characters to life in this romantic comedy. Some of the main characters are Joanne, who Diana just talked about, played by Kristen Bell. Joanne is an outspoken agnostic woman in her 40s, and the agnostic part is important. In her
Mm-hmm.
40s, who hosts a
Yep.
podcast called Nobody Wants This on sex and romance in the modern world. Her life takes an unexpected turn when she meets Noah, a rabbi, and starts to question her beliefs and her lifestyle. And realistically, I think that, that in itself is the hook.
Yeah,
You know, you know.
for sure. Yeah.
Noah Rockloff is played by Adam Brody. He does a brilliant job with this.
He's
Noah is a
so good.
carefree and humorous rabbi who recently broke off his engagement. We talked about this personally because as a rabbi, you can be married, you can have
Mm-hmm.
relationships with people, and unlike a Catholic priest or something, you can't where strict, you can't do this kind of a
Right.
thing. At least they've got
Mm-hmm.
an opportunity for you. You can get married, you can have kids, you can this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
He finds himself drawn to Joanne despite the disapproval from his family and his community. Um, we won't go into great detail, but obviously there are some challenges in there because
Yeah.
they 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 kind of call her is it a shitska?
Shiksa. Shiksa.
Shiksa? It's a
I think
shiksa.
it's a shiksa.
Yeah, which is like a it's a bad word for a woman in
It's
Hebrew.
it's yeah, it's not it's kind of derogatory, you
Yeah,
know, but
she's like the black sheep,
people understand it, that
black sheep,
it, a Gentile, like a, a, a Gentile woman really
yeah, who
shouldn't be dating,
shouldn't be dating a rabbi.
right? And
Um,
let alone, I mean, a Jew, let alone a rabbi.
exactly. So Morgan is Joanne's sister. She's played by Justine Lupe, who we've seen her
So
in some other
cute.
things as well. And the
Love
casting
her.
with both of them, Lupe Morgan and Kristen Bell, as sisters is brilliant because you can absolutely believe that they're sisters.
Yes, you can. Yeah, they're
Um,
good.
Yeah, Joanne's younger sister and
Hmm.
co-host of the podcast. She's quick-witted, supportive, but also her own reservations about Joanne's new relationship, fearing it might affect
Hmm.
their podcast. And if she
Hmm.
fears it affects, and you'll see it when you watch it, because when you listen to them talk on their podcast, they talk
Hmm.
about relationships and what works and what doesn't work, and hookups, and
Hmm.
went on this date last night, but I'm going to ghost him because it really didn't work out, or whatever the case may be, or I was there, but I decided to leave and sneak out the back door because it wasn't working.
Right.
Or, it was great. We hooked up and, and it's a very
So
outspoken podcast.
yeah, their podcast is, I mean, they talk about everything, but it's kind of really centered around the fact that neither one of them are settled down, and
Yeah.
they're supposed to be in their 40s. Is that what? I
No, they're in
never
the
really caught
30s,
on to that.
30s, 40s, I think.
30s. Okay.
Yeah.
So probably like late 30s or something. But so it centers around the fact that they aren't settled down with anyone and that they date around and the things that they do.
Yeah.
And so when she starts dating the rabbi, it's like, well, what's going to happen to our podcast that's just taking off, you know?
Yeah. And in fact, they've got again, we're not really giving much away because this is in some of the trailers, but, excuse me, they have an opportunity for a huge sponsor. And
Hmm.
as individuals that are on podcasts right now, and as a producer and a host of a podcast, we understand the opportunity when somebody comes in from a major player and is saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
we want to sponsor you and we want to pay you a lot of money." You kind of have
Hmm.
to rethink, your position in regard to whether or not you want to continue the podcast in the current format because that's what they're buying.
Right.
If you change it, then it blows a very lucrative or potential lucrative deal,
Right.
kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
So you have to really, I mean, it becomes a real choice before her and
Yeah.
for them.
And of course, the differences between the fact that she's an agnostic and she's not Jewish, and he's a rabbi, where she
Hmm.
didn't know at first, and kind of a thing. The dynamics of that in itself has its own challenges. And
Hmm.
he does have some supporters. She does too. Sasha Roklov is played by Timothy Simons. Sasha is Noah's eccentric older brother. He often feels overshadowed by Noah, but brings a lot of humor and heart to the series with his quirky
Hmm.
personality, interactions with his
He's cute.
family, and so forth. He's kind of if you think about Everybody Loves Raymond,
Mhm. Yeah.
the
Yeah. He does
brother
remind me of that.
dynamic.
Hmm.
Yeah, the brother
That,
dynamic.
yeah, that makes that, yeah, that resonates for sure.
And ironically
Um,
enough, you see the size difference too. Why did they do that?
I don't
Think
know,
think
but
about Raymond's
it's
brother,
cute.
and everybody loves Raymond, you know,
Yeah,
and
it
then
works though.
Sasha,
It
yeah,
works really well. I love it.
yeah,
I
and
love
then
actually I love everybody. I love all the characters. There's not one character that I dislike.
yeah, they're all pretty good.
Yeah.
Ashley, played by Sherry Cola. Ashley's one of Joanne's closest friends, providing comic relief and different perspective on Joanne's romantic endeavors. And I think that's the one that we watched in Joyride.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I
Joyride.
believe she
You
is.
guys should
Yeah.
see Joyride. Everybody,
Yeah.
take a Google Joyride, and you'll find this. It's a pretty good show. It's about
And
four
don't
women.
don't watch it with the family,
Don't watch it with kids, but
but it's really good.
it's really
I
good.
loved it. Yeah.
Esther Rockoff, played by Jackie Towan. Esther's Noah's sister-in-law, who's often finds herself caught in the middle of the family dynamics and unfolding drama. And it's interesting because what you see as the look. I know my mother's not a Jewish mother, but my mother was similar to this woman, and I have
To
friends of
wait
mine that are
to
Jewish.
Noah's to Noah's mom
Noah's
or
mom.
to his sister because you were talking about his
Oh, his
sister-in-law.
sister. Sorry. Yeah,
Sister-in-law.
when you look at the sister-in-law
Right.
and when you look at the mom, they are. I have friends that are Jewish, and
Hmm.
they act just like this.
Yeah. I
And
love them though.
yeah, and
I
it's
mean, I
all
shouldn't.
yeah,
They're supposed to be the characters you love to hate, I guess. I don't know. I don't hate them though. I think I understand them. I get where they're coming from.
yeah.
Um, and I don't know why I love them. I shouldn't love them, but I
Well,
do.
if these characters, along with a strong supporting cast, create a rich and engaging narrative that explores love, faith,
Hmm.
self-discovery, the chemistry between actors, especially Kristen Bell and Adam Brody, I think it adds depth and authenticity to the story.
Hmm.
They have a nice balance between comedy and romance. I think it makes it stand out that way in the rom-com genre because, we were talking about this a couple of episodes ago that you and I had done 2 or 3 episodes ago, where, rom-coms have made kind of a comeback. They kind of went away for a while,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
now they're finally starting to come back out again, and people are starting to write rom-coms again. And whether
Yeah.
it be a series, whether it be a movie, it's nice to see it in a series like this,
Yeah.
and the fact that it's they're doing it brilliantly because we binge watched it and it just felt like one long movie is what it felt like.
Yeah. It did. And there were times, obviously we couldn't binge watch it like, within one whole sitting. You could. I mean, if you had nothing else to do on a weekend, you could get it just 10 episodes, you could get it
Yeah,
done.
get up, get your oatmeal,
Yeah.
stay in your pajamas, your underwear, your robe, or
Totally. Oh my
sit on the
gosh.
couch, eat your oatmeal,
Oh,
binge watch, get up, make something for lunch, go back and finish watching.
I
You
would have
know,
loved for us to do that.
yeah,
We didn't do that,
that would have been
but
good.
it was hard to put it down. It was hard to put it down. It's like a book that you love and you can't put it down and
Yeah.
you need to go to sleep. It's like that.
And and the advantages is, and we'll talk about it again here in a second, but I think the advantages is, from that regard, is that yes, I was happy. I mean, really happy to see immediate discussions across the media verse for a season two. And
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't. Sometimes when you get something that's just come out, you kind of go, are they going to do a season two? Is it coming? Or you think they're going to do a season two? And sometimes
Right.
you don't hear anything for 2 or 3 weeks. And this is like immediately you're hearing talk about a season two and how it needs to come back. And again, I
Hmm.
think that's the chemistry. I haven't seen chemistry like this.
Oh no.
I think since Tom Hanks and oh, are you
Meg
kidding?
Ryan.
Thank
Meg
you,
Ryan. Yeah.
Meg Ryan. See, she disappeared from the scene for so long.
I
Yeah,
don't, and I'm one of the I'm kind of rare. I don't really like those movies with Tom
you
Hanks
really
and Meg
don't.
Ryan.
Yeah, but their chemistry,
No.
though, when you look at their chemistry, or even um, um, Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan,
Billy
You know,
Crystal and Meg Ryan, for me personally, had better chemistry than Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. And I know that
yeah,
there's a lot of people who will
yeah.
disagree with me,
And
but
Billy
mm,
Crystal and Meg Ryan, but when you look at that, or Julia Roberts and Hugh Grant,
oh yeah,
kind of a thing,
yeah.
or
hmm
you go back through some of the other famous
Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. I mean,
Richard Gere.
Pretty
Exactly. You
Woman.
compare,
Huh.
you see the chemistry in all of those, and
hmm
you saw that we kind of saw that disappear for a little while, I think.
hmm
So it was
Yeah,
really nice and refreshing to get involved in a we got involved in a relationship
yeah. Well, and I
to a
think
point.
I mean this series is good all the way around, right? The casting is fantastic. The
Yeah,
writing is great. Um, Everything about it is fantastic. But for me, the standout of the entire series is that chemistry between Kristen Bell and Adam Brody. It's insane.
absolutely. Well,
It's
but I
insane.
have to say it is also complemented by the the sister-in-law, and the
hmm
brother and the
Everybody.
mother.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
the
it's really
father.
complicated that because, huh?
Everybody.
Well,
And the
the whole
father.
cast.
Yeah.
It complements the whole thing because what you see, we not the dynamics. Look, we're friends with my ex-wife,
hmm
and you don't see
We
that
always
in this
have
day
been.
and age. You very rarely see that.
Right.
But when we would have a family reunion, my mother would constantly, even though knew that you were coming to the family reunion or coming to
hmm
the event, whatever it happened to be,
Holiday.
a holiday, my mother would still invite my ex-wife.
hmm
So we understand those kind of dynamics where it's kind of like the mom, is still kind of going, well, I wanted this woman instead of this woman. But we don't know that that's
hmm
what my mother was thinking.
No, well, I wouldn't doubt it, but whatever.
But you know what I mean?
What did we just celebrate?
Our 35th anniversary, our wedding
Yes.
anniversary.
Yes.
So we've
So
been
it
together
doesn't
for
bother
over
me.
35 years.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't bother me.
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
we're friends with Janelle,
hmm
it's interesting that way. But you look at the family dynamics in regard to stuff like that. Was my mother reminds me of the mother in this series
A little bit.
a little bit.
Yeah, not gonna
Yeah,
lie, a little
yeah,
bit.
a
Yeah.
little bit. So because of all this, and so it's kind of a situation where I think that again, the banter, the humor, the
hmm
series filled with sharp, witty dialogue. It keeps the tone light and engaging. The interactions between Joanne and Noah, as well as the supporting characters, are often they're humorous, but they provide plenty of laughs without overshadowing the romantic element.
hmm
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I think
I
that
agree.
the brilliant writers, the directors have done. I don't. I should have done a little more research in this regard. I don't know if it's been all directed by this. All episodes were directed by the same director, or
Yeah,
whether or
I
not
don't
they
know.
had multiple directors, because sometimes series do have different directors. I have to go
That's
back and
usually
look at that.
something you research.
Yeah, I didn't have time to
hmm
today, people. I'm sorry, we were having some technical
Technical,
issues,
technical issue.
difficult technical. Stand by for technical
Oh
difficulties.
my
So,
gosh.
in reality, whoever was directing it, even if it was separate directors or one individual director, they did a brilliant job of
hmm
directing. I think that it carried the story forward. Every episode it carried. When one episode ended, the next one picked up. It picked up at the right spot. It picked up at the right
Yep.
timing. It picked up like it was supposed
hmm
to. That's why I said it felt like one long movie.
It really did. Yeah,
So,
it really did.
all of it.
And it, as far as the writing, something that stands out to me too is the way they wrote it, the way that um, the way that Joanne and Noah communicate with one another,
Yeah,
especially when they're having difficulties, is a lesson in communication for couples.
for everybody, exactly.
Like
Yeah.
it is so great to see literal like real, like that's what they were trying to strive for, I think, was showing how to communicate in a relationship. It was, you don't see that,
Well, it's relatable
you know?
romantic struggles, like we all go through.
Yeah.
The romance between both of them is heartwarming, but it's also
hmm
realistic. And they face genuine challenges as cultural,
Yep.
religious differences, which, we're lucky we haven't really had those kind of religious differences, but
Hmm.
we've had other instances, but we've also had the benefit of understanding, communication, and we've taught our
Hmm.
kids that communication, and they've grown that and used that in their own relationships in regard
Hmm.
to making sure that the communication is always open, even if you have fights and you
Hmm.
get angry with somebody. You can be angry as you want to, as long as you're
Hmm.
not angry with violence. That is a
Right.
big, big no-no all the way around, no
Right.
matter what, in
Hmm.
any circumstance. You can be angry, you can be mad, but when you're done being mad and you're done being angry, you need to get back and talk about it.
Hmm.
And have these conversations so that you both explore and grow with that. So, and that comes with anything, even the religious differences. And I think in this particular case, the religious aspect of it, they did it with sensitivity, they did it with depth, they did it
Hmm.
with a layer of authenticity to the romance, and making it more relatable and compelling. Because realistically, what you have is, and again, I know, again, the Jewish friends that we've had, and the Jewish friends that I had growing up, you um, within the Jewish faith, you can get married, but that individual has to be of the Jewish
Jewish.
faith.
Right.
Whereas typically I don't know. Obviously, Catholic. I grew up Catholic, but I'm not a practicing Catholic, so I
Hmm.
don't know how it goes in that regard. But I know that my mother also was a Presbyterian, and she also had one time was a Baptist, and
Hmm.
the ministers and the preachers could get married,
Right.
but I don't know if it was strict that they had to be Presbyterian or had to be. But I know that when I got married in the Catholic Church the first time, we it was demanded that we go to classes together, and it was demanded
Right.
that Janelle was Catholic and I was Catholic, and this kind
Well,
of
and
thing.
and didn't the Catholic Church kick your mother out basically and kick the whole family out when she got divorced?
Yes, that's a
Hmm.
long, 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 long time ago in a
I don't know that they
distant,
still do that,
far, far away. Yeah, I don't know if they still do that, but she was
but
excommunicated because of that, and we weren't allowed to really go to church, take communion. She could come to church, but you had to sit in the back of the church, and we couldn't take communion. Kind of a situation, and that which is
hmm.
bizarre in my position. Not to go off on a different conversation, but
Hmm.
realistically, I think that when you're approaching a romantic relationship where you have people of different faiths, where I mentioned earlier she's agnostic, which
Hmm.
means she really doesn't believe in God. Um, she's open to the idea, but she doesn't really believe in it. Then you
Right.
have an individual that's from the Jewish faith, that's a rabbi, not just an individual that's Jewish, but
Right.
you have a
But a
rabbi.
rabbi. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, you couldn't really get farther away than somebody who's doesn't
yeah,
really believe in God, not really sure about God, all the way to a rabbi. I mean,
to a
that's pretty
rabbi.
far away. That's not just, well, I'm a Catholic and you're a Jew, or
Yeah.
that's way far away. Um, I don't know. I think they
Well, look
present it
at
really
Richie.
well and real. They present it very
Yeah,
real.
very much so.
But I'd be interested to know how um, many Jews are relating to that, like how they feel about this. Are they
Um,
feeling like everything's done? Um,
if you
I was
look
going to
at
say, I was literally going to say kosher. That's
kosher,
not. I didn't mean to say that.
well, look
But you
look
know what
at
I mean. Like,
look at
I would
Richie.
wonder
Look
if they
Richie.
agree with it.
We're talking over each other.
I know.
Look at Richie and Joni.
Yeah.
Richie was Jewish. Joni was Catholic, and they got married.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, I do not know if they got married in a Jewish church, if they got married in a Catholic church, or whether they get married outside of that with a
I
uh,
think they. I think I remember them saying that they did that.
non-denominational individual that married
Hmm.
them so they could be together. But
Yeah.
and the fact is that they celebrated Christmas and they celebrated Hanukkah. They
Hmm.
respected each other's position within those faiths where they were able to do both of
Hmm.
them. And Richie on the police department, because y'all know I was a cop. Richie was my partner. Then he worked on my team. He's one of my team
Hmm.
members. The fact is he would wear a Santa hat and on Christmas, and he'd drive around with the Santa hat on in the police car. We bent the rules just a wee bit, just a little bit.
A little
And
bit.
then he would hand out, candy canes and candy to the kids, kind of a thing.
Hmm.
So, but you saw the dynamic working for them. I don't
Hmm.
know whether or not he was, I won't say kicked out of the faith, but I do know that when his father passed away, that
Hmm.
obviously he did his thing. We had to give him time off in a time of
Hmm.
mourning, and he grew a
Right.
beard, and then he flew back and buried his father.
Hmm.
And when his mother died, same thing kind
Right.
of situation. So I know that,
Hmm.
he obviously was still allowed in temple and he's still allowed to practice his faith kind of a situation. But, and that's, we're delving off track here, but, I
Hmm.
think the strong chemistry, character chemistry between Kristen Bell and Adam Brody, even the fact that they've got hers as agnostic and him as in the Jewish faith, their on-screen chemistry just enhances the comedic and the romantic aspects of the show, despite the fact that one's agnostic and one is a rabbi. You kind of see
Right.
my Italian hands. One is agnostic and one is rabbi.
Well, but I would like I would assume somebody's going to do some article or some interview with people of the Jewish faith that might watch the show, and I would really love to see what they think about it
Well,
as a whole.
yeah, I think that I would too. I think, if anybody's out here, please feel free to email me at michael at one more thing before you go.com
Hmm.
and connect with me, or go to the website before you go podcast.com. There's a little microphone on the right hand side of the website. Click the microphone and you can just say what you want to say. And
Hmm.
we'll include it in a follow up, or we'll get a hold
Yeah,
of you and include you in the follow up.
yeah, we want to
Because
know.
I would be interested to kind of know if anybody's out there,
Hmm.
in this situation, especially after you watch the show, what your thoughts are, and
Hmm.
whether or not you agree with us, or whether or not you feel that it's kind of maybe out of the ballpark for what they pulled off.
Right, right.
But
Or if they're even presenting it respectfully,
yeah,
you know,
because overall, I mean, personally, I think,
because
and I
we
think
don't
you'll agree
know.
with me, I think that nobody wants this manages to they blend a human and romance seamlessly, creating a series that's both entertaining and emotionally resonant.
Hmm.
If you enjoy rom-coms, this is, I think this is like the perfect series to
It is.
reintroduce yourself to rom-coms, or
Yeah.
if you haven't been watching rom-coms because they disappeared for a while, to kind
Hmm.
of bring you back into this genre of rom-coms.
I think it's the perfect rom-com. I
You know,
I just love it. I love
and
it, love it, love it.
we'll give away a couple little things here. I think some of my favorite parts were, the car ride with the text mishap.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
we all seem to forget that when we plug our in today's digital age, you
Hmm.
plug your phone into the car, and then
Hmm.
if you get a text, it'll read you the text. You can set it as automatic, or you can set it to press it, and then when you press it, it'll read it for you. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, the
If
sister
you
had
if
it
if
set
you
for
if you
automatic.
if you forget that it's automatic,
Yeah,
don't be texting something you don't want people to hear.
yeah. So kind of watch
Oh
that because
God,
that was really, really
that's
funny.
great.
That was really funny.
Yeah.
The sports blazer incident, where Noah tries
Yeah.
to impress Joanne's parents, we wear the sports blazer. I think that it's like an over the top effort to fit in.
Hmm.
That you kind of
And to
go,
make an impression.
we
Right.
all want to impress the other parents, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of one of those things where the first time you meet somebody, you try to do your best and
Hmm.
dress nicely and everything else. So he tries to not be the strict rabbi. So I thought that was pretty good.
Hmm.
And
Yeah. I think your mom. You were talking about your mom
yeah,
earlier, and and Janelle and everything. And I always got the feeling when I first met her that you know you and Janelle's divorce had been finalized shortly before we started dating, and I'm 9 years younger than you. And when I met her, I was barely 20. So I think that your mom's first, I mean, I probably made an okay impression, but I think her thinking, she was overcome with, this is not, this is a fling. This is a post-divorce fling with
that,
some young girl. You know what I mean?
she probably thought that
But
most
then
likely.
but then as soon as I think she was fine with us getting married, but then of course as soon as the kids came along, she was like, all in, all in, all in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how I think
Yeah.
magical grandmother mode kind of a thing.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
yeah, it's fun. That was
yeah.
fun. I guess kind of sort of when you look back on it, it's kind of one of those things. I think that yeah, because every Christmas you guys have become best friends. So
No,
we won't
no,
say
no,
why.
no. Don't say that. No. I, there was one Christmas. Okay, maybe two.
There's that Joanne and Morgan's podcast often serves as a source of their candid and sometimes awkward discussions about sex and relationships that lead to
Mhm.
genuinely funny moments, especially when things don't go as planned. 'Cause you get to hear their. They do it a little bit differently. They both sit on a couch and hold a microphone in front of them. They don't have a video podcast as well as an audio.
Right.
They just have the audio podcast, so it makes it easier for them. We
Yeah.
obviously do the video one, so we do this. We still do. Maybe one of these days we'll set the camera up and two microphones out on the couch, and then give you a play-by-play right off the bat. Maybe.
Well, there was a show a few years ago. I got into it. I don't think you really ever watched it, but they would film celebrities, not not like, a celebrity, like, what am I trying to say?
Yeah, yeah. I know
A
what you're talking
A
about.
celebrities, B celebrities, whatever.
Yeah,
They would film some celebrities watching reality shows.
yeah. I remember that. I don't
Yeah,
remember the name of it, but I remember that.
I don't either. I loved it.
Yeah.
I thought it was fascinating. So maybe we'll do this watching a show, since we review shows
Yeah,
or
because we always
movies.
have comments, and then we kind
Oh
of go,
my
"What?
gosh.
What did you say? What do you
It
want to say?"
takes it takes us forever to get through something because we're constantly stopping to
And going,
comment on it
yeah,
or have a conversation about it, and it takes forever.
it's
So yeah,
funny.
I mean, I think that would might be an interesting episode.
Um, Also, pay attention to the family dinner dynamics, the interactions between Noah's family members,
Hmm.
particularly during the family dinners. They're filled with some comedic tension. Sasha's eccentric behavior, I think, is really kind of cool. And the family's reactions to Joanne add a lot of humor as well. So I think that, you know, I think that there are overall, I think that everything just flowed extremely well. I think that
Hmm.
again, once you get involved, once you start, get from the get go, I think that
Hmm.
you'll be grabbed right off the bat because it's a mixture of comedy and romance. I mean, there's a little bit of drama in there as well, but it's mostly comedy and romance, and that it's also heartfelt, and you really can. I don't know if I mean you tell me what you think. Do Is there a situation here where you kind of pick sides?
Um,
Because I kind of felt personally, I think I felt I was rooting for everybody for different reasons. I think.
I I cannot think of a time when I was picking sides. Like, are you talking about between Joanne and Noah, or are you talking about anybody?
Well,
Like,
anybody, because I mean, because there's obviously,
there's
the
some there's there's some contention between characters.
yeah, yeah,
Um, Not really though. I mean, I can't say that I was always like that. There was a time where I was, on this team or that team. Um, I I don't know. I guess because they had, by the time things start happening with the sisters, they
yeah,
had already shown in the writing how much communication is really like,
yeah,
I
important.
don't know. Communication is almost like a main character in this for me, but um, maybe not a main character, but a secondary character. Um, I just kind of knew they were going to work it out. Like,
Yeah,
I didn't ever have like, okay, this sister's right and this sister's wrong. It just,
or
I don't
even
know.
even Noah's ex, where the individual that you kind of have a you get to feel for her as well. I won't say feel sorry for her, but you
Yeah,
get to feel for her as well.
you
Um,
empathize with her.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, after watching the clip on Instagram with um, Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard,
Hmm.
and we mentioned earlier about what the reaction was and all. What are you going to kiss him already? You know,
Hmm.
when Joanna Noah's first kiss comes about, the moment's
Oh,
crafted with great attention to detail. The buildup is tender and genuine, and I know that the whole, I won't describe the whole scene, but it
no,
is very
no.
poignant. Number one, And Dax and Kristen Bell both watching it went, man, that's hot. It's
Yeah.
both of them.
It
So,
is it's
so that's kind of
probably
weird.
the best first kiss of any characters ever. I mean, it's a great scene.
It is.
It's so good.
And
Yeah.
then I think you also see the other one of my other favorite scenes, which you mentioned in the opening here, was the "I can handle you" scene. It's a scene that resonated with strongly with at least with me. It did because everybody goes through stuff, and what you're going through, you kind of feel that you're not worthy to be with somebody.
Hmm.
And it's when Joanne had the moment of doubt and panic about their relationship, and he kind of stands firm and reassures her with confidence and understanding. And his response to her was, he made her feel seen and valued because he
Hmm.
said that, I can handle you, don't worry. Because remember, she was freaking out about, I'm this, I'm a little crazy about that, I could do that, and the podcast and everything else, and everybody's going to think I'm there. And he goes, don't worry, I can handle you. Like I'm
Hmm.
here, I understand you and what you're going through and everything.
Yeah.
So, keep an eye out for those. I think that it is really important. I think they were, I really would, to me, that gave me some of the very poignant aspects of the whole thing in the first place.
It's
So
great. Like the MTV Movie Awards, they have Best Kiss.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that it's hands down. I cannot think of any other movie that should even be nominated. Like they win.
Well, I
They
think
win.
I think these moments, along with the show's overall narrative, make Nobody Wants This a heartfelt and engaging series. And if you enjoy stories that blend humor with genuine emotional depth, this show is definitely,
Mhm.
absolutely, 110% coach, 110% worth it
Yes. Watch it.
to watch it.
Binge it. Binge it.
Midget, midget. So, Diane, this is one more thing before you go. So, before we go,
Hmm.
do you have any words of wisdom or things you want to share with us?
So I love doing the National Day calendar. I think it's interesting. Some of the things they have are crazy, but for today, there are a few things, but National GOE Day, Sunday of the first full weekend in October. So I was like,
G
what is
O
this?
E.
National GOE Day. So what that is growth, overcome, empower. The
Hmm.
Sunday of the first full weekend in October encourages us to support safe spaces for healing and connection for those who have been victimized by abuse and trauma. The day focuses on healing, recovery, and providing resources that support overcoming these overwhelming obstacles in life. Hashtag National GOE Day. Isn't that cool?
That's
I
very
never knew
cool.
about that.
Me
Yeah, I
either.
didn't know about
I
that.
think that's something we all should do each and every month.
Yeah. Um, and there's a few National Orange Wine Day. I don't even know what orange wine is, but okay.
Ah,
Nash, Na- I know. National Plus Size Appreciation Day. Love that since I have been plus size at one time or another. National German American Day, which is kind of interesting considering my aunt just found out some interesting things about our
heritage.
family, yeah, our heritage that we never knew. I may have some German. Didn't know. Um, and then National Noodle Day, which is interesting since we're going to have pasta tonight.
We
Hmm.
are going to have pasta. We are.
Yeah.
We are going to have it. Yes, I'm
So
saying that with a
National Noodle
Scottish
Day.
accent when it should be with an Italian accent.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't know. It just
Okay.
comes naturally. What can I say?
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, so yes. So I think those are great. Those are great. Thank you very much for sharing those. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
you're gonna do this to
Everybody should binge watch. Nobody wants this. It's going
me. Thank
to be a
you.
great show. You're welcome. It's a great show
Me? Oh my God.
on
Okay. I
Netflix.
love, love, love the show. I really do. I really, really do.
Yeah,
I
it's on
just, my
Netflix.
brain.
So you got to watch it. You got to watch it because we want a season two and beyond. We
Yes.
want
Oh my
a
gosh,
season two.
please.
So, and how do they judge that? By viewership. So they check the Nielsen ratings. They check what's going on, how many downloads, how many watching. So please go watch it because we
Watch
want a
it.
season two
Watch it. Watch it. Watch
and
it. Watch it.
beyond.
Yep.
And one more thing before we all go. Obviously, you see, we're still molding and molding and redeveloping and evolving. One more thing before you go. So thank you for being with us this whole process. We really appreciate it. You'll still we'll see some new changes coming about in the next couple of months, but thank you for being part of this community. And one more thing before you all go, have a great day, have a great week, and thanks for being part of the community.
Happy Sunday, everyone.
Thanks for listening to this episode of One More Thing Before You Go. Check out our website at beforeyougopodcast.com. You can find us as well as subscribe to the program and rate us on your favorite podcast listening platform.